Dear brothers and sisters, this time I would like to make a video about the CIA Hollywood soft industry. Hollywood produces movies for a reason, and the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States, influences the productions of the movies such that they have a positive tone towards the goals of the powers that be. After all, the United States is the global police force. Now I'm going to show you a book about the CIA Hollywood connection.
The CIA in Hollywood, How the Agency Shapes Film and Television, written by Tricia Jenkins. What's your impression of the CIA? A rogue organization prone to covert operations and assassinations? Or a dedicated public service that advances the interests of the United States? Let's look inside the book. And here she focuses more on the spy films, the history and criticism, espionage, etc, etc, etc. Also the political aspects, pretty much as we would assume that the CIA would like to be portrayed in a certain light in Hollywood.
So we know now that the CIA influences the movie productions in Hollywood. I made a couple of tweets on Twitter after reacting to a post made by Alexis Ren. She says on her bio about the universe, when nothing exists and life is an illusion and there's multiple universes, but it's all just a dream caused by you being the universe keeping itself entertained. I found it very interesting because once you start thinking about it, that Earth is another form of entertainment. Difficult, isn't it? Yep. My reaction to this is, according to my knowledge, there are 12 parallel universes. This appears in the series The Flash. Our universe is the prime or version universe. There are, however, in theory, an infinite amount of potential universes. Like in theory, the Marvel and DC universe. It's called the pan-galactic continuum. The future as an example is also potential. It can be changed and altered. As an example, in the movies it is often depicted that there's a Third World War, comparable to the movie Terminator in the 90s. And the secret force that is out there, that is actually on our side, they have been avoiding a Third World War ever since. In the 1970s, they avoided the Third World War during the Kennedy era. The Federation of Light members, or Imperial Germans from the Hollow Earth, all want peace. They do not want war. The second tweet that I tweeted, or simply, it is a continuum of multiverses. The series The Flash shows us the mechanics of time travel and parallel universes. Star Trek, Star Wars, the 22 Marvel movies, Aquaman, all incorporate truths concerning the structure of the multiverse. Hollywood has close ties to the CIA. So we know that the CIA influences Hollywood and its productions. Of course, we would assume it's only war movies that they influence to justify the wars in the Middle East, in the 70s in Vietnam, in World War II in Germany, pretty much in South America. Everywhere where the United States wages war, they have a propaganda machine that supports this war. That is why the movie Transformers, as an example, has the Middle East as one of its scenarios. It is very entertaining, these movies, but at the same time, they influence your mind to accept that war is the only solution to the world's problems. War movies are logical if you're in a perpetual state of war, like in the book 1984 written by George Orwell. The United States has been in a perpetual state of war since over 100 years now. That is why most of our movies are based in wartime scenarios. The Avengers, as an example, is another form of militarized science fiction. But at the same time, it promotes militarism as the solution. As an example, try to count the number of games where conflict, violence, and war is not part of the game. My favorite PC game in 1995 was SimCity 2000. I love to play it. So SimCity is one game where you do not wage war. Another game that I recollect is The Sims. Another game is Spore. That's like 3 games that I recollect right now. In the PC game Spore, a new type of algorithm was used. The game incorporates an algorithm that uses procedure generation to create an entire galaxy within seconds. All the planets and all the moons are uniquely created. So in essence, we are recreating a universe virtually within our gaming industry and within our movie industries. If we can create an entire galaxy within seconds using one algorithm, then you might understand the Bible that God took 6 days to create the heavens and the earth. The more you create games, the more you come to the insight that we live in a designed universe. This means that if the universe was created, there has to be a creator. The more I find out the truth, the more I start confiding in the Bible and in Jesus. Because the more insights you get, the more knowledge you have, then it is easy to be lost within that knowledge because you do not have an oversight. So the more truth you find out, the more you're inclined to act upon this truth. The mind has to be ready to let go of false conditioning, false memories. After all, we all went through the educational system. Hollywood keeps us brainwashed. And if you really want to find out the truth, then you have to start researching on the internet. The truth is being censored on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, every day. Nevertheless, our primary goal is first to heal ourselves, heal our minds, to become whole again, and then to start to actually influence our surroundings for the better. I wanted to explain the tweets more in detail. You all know the movie The Matrix from 2001, from Neo. It all depicts a certain potential or possibility, and the book from Greg Braden, The Divine Matrix, tries to explain the possibility of the Matrix within our real world, using actually latest insights in quantum mechanics and the Heisenberg principle. So if you read the book The Divine Matrix and start thinking about it, then you start thinking it is in theory possible that we live in a type of virtual reality or natural virtual reality, pretty much like in the movie The Matrix. The scary thing is that we all react scared to this possibility. The Matrix in itself is not evil. It is the ones that code or control the Matrix that exploit us, pretty much as in our world, where we are exploited mentally, spiritually, and financially. If you come out of the school, you're mentally enchained. You're not free in your mind. And so long your mind is not free, you cannot open up to universal healing. So let's just assume that we are living in a type of Matrix, pretty much like in the movie The Matrix. Just that the Divine Matrix is the upgraded version or better version of the Matrix. Just assume that there are multiple matrices all across the universe. Isn't it possible that since the Matrix is digital, that we can create any universe we want, pretty much as in the gaming industry? You want to play Alice in Wonderland? Or if you like the Star Trek universe, why wouldn't you want to play in the Star Trek universe? Or in the Star Wars universe? If we live in a type of Matrix, this is all possible. We prove it in our gaming industry. I once watched a movie, it was called The 13th Floor. It was about a city that was actually researching in entire creation of worlds virtually, and that the users were actually downloading themselves into people in the 30s. The resolution of the movie is that this city that designed this virtual reality was in itself a virtual reality. Pretty much a virtual reality creating a virtual reality. Comparable to a dream within a dream, like in the movie Inception. The question is, where's the limit? We want to heal the universe, not destroy it. That is a mind game, and I like it when you follow my train of thoughts and my logical deduction. In the movie Inception, the CIA develops a technique to create artificial dreams. And once they can create artificial dreams, everything what I told you now is more than possible. You just be sleeping. Assuming that it is the first time we think about this possible solution is naive. If we look at the present day Earth, and we look at the bad sides of it, the shadow state, the child trade, satanic ritual sacrifice, our food industry, how we treat our animals, how we treat our oceans, how we treat everybody, how we treat our own family, then you know that we are being intoxicated from all sides. Then the CIA offers you a solution, or some big company, DreamWorks. You want to live a dream, be a hero, live a peaceful life, like in the movie Inception? Or you want to play the hero in Star Wars, on Star Trek? The only thing you have to do is go to sleep. And I bet you many people would voluntarily fall asleep and rather believe the dream than the horrific truth, like in the movie The Matrix. So if you follow that train of thought, and if you know that that train of thought would lead you to the result of the movie The Matrix, where everybody's actually sleeping but dreaming, then it has been done before. Perhaps in another world, perhaps in a past cycle. Again, the construct is not evil. Pretty much as the TV is not evil. The TV can be used for healing.
Imagine Gaia being streamed on TV, and all their documentaries and series are shown on TV about spirituality, about alternative medicine, about extraterrestrials. Or imagine your favorite YouTube channels like Joe Rogan or Shane being shown on TV. This would all be possible if the mass media would be free.
What a type of healing that would create all across the world. Instead, the mass media and the TV are used to divide, to generate hatred among the people. The more divided we are, the more they can attack us. Divide and conquer. Our goal is, of course, to break free from this mental, financial, and spiritual slavery. The kingdom of heaven is possible if we all heal ourselves and liberate our minds. Then the powers that be will lose control. Have you ever heard of the resolution theory? Gregory Roberts writes in his book Shantaram about the resolution theory, that everything that uplifts humanity is good, and everything that is detrimental, that damages this uplifting, is negative or bad. That is part of the resolution theory. This means that you are the smallest unit in this resolution theory. You can influence yourself, influence your own thought patterns to help heal yourself, heal your mind, and to become a better version of yourself. You can work every day to become a better version of yourself. The next step would be in healing and harmonizing the relationships you have to other people, family and friends. If you get irritated by your brother and sister because they react in a certain way, then you have to think of a certain type of communication or wording to solve this problem. Communication is the key. As an example, I used to get irritated by my half-sister because she used to talk a lot about her book. If you get used to this, even though she's working and doing a lot of other stuff, every single time she talks about the book, you remember that you used to be irritated by it. So you have to deprogram from this. Good books to deprogram your mind on programmed reactions are the books by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself and Becoming Supernatural. Dr. Joe Dispenza describes in detail, using biology, medicinal biology, and biochemistry on how our own memories are formed and how our own body reacts in a programmed way since we have thought in that thought pattern for so long. And he tells us in detail on how we could solve these thought patterns or subconscious programs that keep popping up. If we solve these subconscious programs and we solve the body reacting to these programs, then we start healing our minds. The resolution theory starts with you. Become healthier in your mind and body and spirit. Improve your existing relationships with other people, family and friends. And when you do this, you're actually healing the environment. If you all would do this, we would be actually healing the world in this process. And it is more important to heal ourselves and heal the world in this process than to use hostilities or force or war to force a change. In essence, if you want to change the world, start by changing yourself for the better. The resolution theory, you can compare this to a low pixelated picture. The higher the resolution, the more you recognize the picture or what is in the picture. And at the very end, when Jesus shows himself, you will get the full picture, pretty much as the resolution theory. So Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza gives you a step-by-step guide to deprogram from these mind programs. Try to remove these spells or mind programs from your mind and psyche. As an example, your voice can be very powerful. Your voice can be soft and soothing and loving and tenderly, or your voice can be ice cold, unforgiving, avengeful. It is the tone of your voice that makes a difference. If you have experienced certain voice alterations with your friends or family because of a apparent fight, then you know what I'm talking about. So try to control your voice, because your voice at the same time has also been programmed. If you find that your boyfriend or girlfriend is irritating you just because you have a different voice frequency, then try talking to them in an honest fashion without triggering them. As an example that the voice is very powerful is our mass media. Our mass media is nothing but another voice. The voices of many when needed, and the voices of one if needed. Combined with video and imagery, you can make believe millions of people that it's righteous to kill millions of people at the other side of the world. Be it Japan during World War II, be it Germany during World War II, be it Iraq during the Iraq War, be it Vietnam during the Vietnam War. This happened during the Korean War. Literally, the United States is waging war indefinitely and is using the propaganda to justify these measures. Without this ongoing propaganda machine, we wouldn't be waging war and killing millions of people. So the voice is very powerful. That is why the powers that be hate independent influencers like PewDiePie and Shane. I like his videos where he explains himself on how he's attacked by the mass media, because in those videos he's very authentic. I also like the videos of Shane, the conspiracy videos. The powers that be know that these independent influences are a possible threat to their dominion on the thought process of the masses. To reduce overall stress in your life, I suggest that you try your best to live in the here and now. If you keep thinking about the future, then you get fear of failure. Do not think of how it could be, people. Try your best to make a change in the now, in the present. Focus on the present. A great book that goes over this subject is The Power of Now, written by Agartha. The Power of Now describes that it is very important to live in the now, for there is only the now. If you do your best to improve your current situation in the moment, after a day, you reach the full potential of the day. And if you reach the full potential every day, then you're wandering or going into a beautiful future. As an example, I am trying my best to improve my health as I go along. When I make a video, I do my best to make the video. As an example of the power of the here and now is if you are editing a video. If you have a footage of 50 minutes and you're editing the video at the very beginning, if you keep zooming out and see how much work there still has to be done, then you become depressed. But if you edit minute by minute and do your best and actually enjoy editing, then time flies by. And then you take a break after 1 or 2 hours, depending on the situation. But if you keep zooming out and see the entire timeline of the unedited footage, then you become depressed and say, so much work to do. That is practically the message of Living in the Now, written by Agartha. Try to become the fullest of your potential in the now and do not think of a possible future. As an example, if you keep living in the future, keep thinking of how it could be, and you see yourself as a Tony Stark flying around in some movie, as an example, it's possible in the dream world, then you will never finish anything in the real world. I do dream a lot, but I tend to be productive as well. I try to do the household, I take care of the dogs, I take care of my grandmother, and I read books, I do activism. For every thought you waste actually on how it could be, the future, the less thoughts you have to solving the problem in the now. If you watch the series The Order on Netflix, then you know how potentially dangerous it is to manifest a possible future. In the series, a female necromancer can actually see your potential futures. And if you manifest the futures, then that necromancer can attack you in a point in the future. That is how dangerous it could be to manifest a possible future. Try your best in the now and keep working bit by bit, like in the resolution theory. Do not force the future. Let it come on a voluntary basis. If you let the future come on a voluntary basis and do your best every day in the now, then naturally your life will change for the better. So if you live in the here and now and do your best in the here and now, you're actually safe from necromancers that can potentially see your future, at least according to the series. This is why it's best to make a change in the now to improve your current situation. And if you want to heal your mind, then try to use the books for Dr. Joe Dispenza to deprogram your minds. According to the Vedic scriptures, we are actually living in God's dream. So if the Vedic scriptures are right and this is God's dream, then we are living in a type of matrix, a divine type of matrix, where anything in theory is possible. Where actually the greatest limit is your own mind. If you think that it's limited, then it is limited because you think it is limited. But once you think it is possible, then it is possible. If we are living in God's dream, then all potentials can in theory become real. As an example, if we live in the matrix and somebody takes control of the coding of the matrix, then you can change the matrix to become an earth in paradise or to become the hell of the movie series Resident Evil. It's all possible. And if you know that this is marketed to make money, then yes, then you know what type of reality we could potentially be living in. The more I find out, the more I trust the Bible, because you can get lost in these possibilities or potentials. And the powers that be are already marketing the Dream Factory in forms of movies and games. Pretty much as in the movie Tuners, where the reality is tuned according to the minds of the people. In theory, we can tune reality according to our own thoughts. The difference here is that apparently our world is hard, is physical, it's not virtual. So if you want to create a ship within our world, you have to think about it first, create the ship in your mind, design it on paper, use software to render it, and then create the real ship, which takes thousands of man-hours and an incredible amount of resources. So in essence, our thoughts influence reality, but to create this reality, we have to use labor and resources. Another great example of the resolution theory are the 22 Marvel movies. From the very beginning, we've seen these movies. We get bits and parts of the pieces of the story, but we do not get an oversight or a whole picture until the final movie, Marvel Endgame. Marvel Endgame will give us a resolution on the 21 movies that we watched. I recently watched multiple Marvel movies, and I'm becoming more and more a Marvel fan and a DC fan. One of my favorite Marvel movies is Thor Ragnarok, because I saw so many realities in it. I also like Captain Marvel, Black Panther. In Black Panther, as an example, I really like the fact that there's apparently a Nigerian colony that is more advanced than other Nigerians. Perhaps a tribe was upgraded thousands of years ago and they're living in secret. We don't know. Africa is so big, people, that the United States, Europe, China and India fit inside Africa, and we don't know what lies in Africa? We have no idea. So yes, if we dream it, it's in theory possible. I believe that the shadow elites or the shadow government has contact with extraterrestrials, with the Atlanteans, possibly also with the Wakandians, the Imperial Germans. It depends. How many nations are out there that have high technology and do not show themselves? A really great series that depicts the mechanics of time travel and parallel universes is The Flash. I really like watching the first 3 seasons. So the resolution theory from the book Shantaram is implemented in the 22 Marvel movies. It's just an example of how it could be done. And this in retrospect is pretty much the plan of salvation in the Bible. Because in the Bible, Jesus repeats over and over again to his disciples that you think in the minds of men. Because you lack the knowledge. In theory, we have more insights and more knowledge to understand the possible solution than the people 2000 years ago, because of our movie industry and our gaming industry. Another great book to heal the relationships in between the men and women in our society, and to heal the loving relationships in our society, because we believe that love is an energy form that we simply love. But it is actually loving deeds, loving words, loving care. It is how you treat your family and friends every day that actually say that you're a loving, caring person or not. So Erich Fromm wrote this book in the 1920s, The Art of Loving. It is actually a differentiation of our term love, and it's very important. So that book is very important if you want to heal and start understanding what love is all about. Another great book is Ender's Game. I'm actually reading the book right now and watched the movie. I really love the movie, and it's really great because it shows that there is an insectoid race in our galaxy, pretty much like the Zerg in StarCraft. The powers that be know that this insectoid race is out there. They are in contact, after all, with the reptilian race in our galaxy. The powers that be actually fear the reptilian race in our galaxy, the Draco race. But the Draco race fears the insectoid race in our universe. So this book is a great book to actually tell you that once you understand your enemy for what he is, you will learn how to love him. Why? Because the insectoids are just hungry and thirsty. They conquer planet after planet, galaxy after galaxy, eat the humans, eat the reptilians, eat all the lower races from their perspective. They only do it because they're hungry. They're not evil. That is what the book is all about. It is a science fiction book, but I came to the insight after 10 years of truth, research and activism and personal spiritual experiences where I actually met some of these extraterrestrials immediately on the other plane, is that the insectoid race is a reality in our galaxy and universe. So are the reptilians. So are the little greys, the big greys, the Nordic Aldebaranians. Well, I wanted to make a video about the movies and books that I've read, and about the resolution theory, about the global plan of salvation, that at the end the resolution will be so high that we will understand the whole picture. You will not understand now, but you will understand later. Jesus said that in the Bible. And we all feel somehow that the solution is in front of us. I'd like to dedicate this video to John Cooper, the band of Skillet. His music really helped me a lot to get through the difficult times in the past. I really appreciate his work, and I follow him on Twitter, and he's also a Marvel fan. I'm also going to watch Endgame, the premiere, at least in Germany. And I believe Marvel really loves its public and wants to satisfy all sides. Let's see, they will find an ultimate solution that will create peace, apparently, in the Marvel universe. Feel free to rate and subscribe, and if you can make a small donation, the details are in the description. Many greetings from Bad Bentheim, Germany, and cheers!